All right, the final update for this week, okay? This is going to be about some moving forward with ramping up into serving and leading in some new ways. So we need you to know this, that although we are a network of churches and we call it the 90%, because that's where so much of what God is going to do is going to be through relationship. We also run this thing, that's the network, that's the organized pieces of what we do. And listen, COVID has been crazy for us. We are mostly a part-time staff. Everybody's kind of got other things they do, and COVID has really amplified a lot of those other things. And it's been hard to figure out how to move forward, obviously, for a lot of this season, because a lot of what we do in the 10%, not all of it, but a lot of it does involve things like marriage retreats and gatherings and things like that. So, and the parts that didn't, it just felt like a lot of people recruiting them in to work in these ways felt like it just wasn't right. It's like a lot of people have been in the space of caring for their families, caring for their neighbors, and really even some self-care has been important during a hard emotional season like this. So we haven't been pushing that pretty hard, but now where we find ourselves is, as we ramp up, we have massive serving voids and massive leadership voids in what we do. So let me talk about some of the serving opportunities that we're going to need. And these are not going to be super surprising, but to pull off a gathering that allows parents to be fully present and allows their children to be cared for and loved and even discipled up in the gospel. We need childcare. We need people to serve in a way where every so often they sit and maybe just hear the audio of the teaching and things like that over the speaker, and they give themselves for that time every once in a while to take care of children. Obviously, if you are a parent of young children, that we would obviously hope you would be on that rotation as part of, you take care of other people's kids one week and they'll take care of yours. That's just a great way to just edify each other and make sure those needs are met. But what we need is people to understand that this is a very important ministry of serving kids, the next generation, and it's a very needed thing right now. You have parents who have been unable to get childcare very easily for a very long season, and this is a refuge for some of them to come in and be able to just be with the Father, be in worship, be encountering God, listen to teaching in a way where it's live and it's real and it's real time. So if you are looking for a way to serve right now, we would say we would love to have lots of workers in the arena of childcare right now. You will, for the time being, be wearing a mask when you do the childcare until we update that protocol or change that protocol. But it'll still be a special time, a really beautiful time. Secondly, to run what we do at the gathering, although we run it very lean with volunteers, we need people operating sound, and so that is a serving role for us. You don't have to have, graduated seminary or have made X number of disciples. You really just have to be responsible enough to serve and just kind of do what is needed. And it's such an important role because the stuff on stage that is being put out there to translate, to edify to everybody, it can't make it, if the sound is so wonky, people can't really hear it. So we will do the training. We'll make sure you're set up for it. And if the more people we get, the more you'll just be on an every once in a while rotation. Of course, you get to be in the gathering when that happens. You're just right there seated back behind everybody. And we would love to have more and more people step up to that, because sometimes I look around and we have a lot of leaders that are in positions where we'd love to have them able to just have conversations and meet new people and make disciples and set up lunches. And sometimes we have so many leaders still in the serving roles because they're having to cover those gaps. If you're new or don't find yourself really involved in the 10% right now of Radius, please run to the idea of serving kids or serving with sound right now, because we could really, really use that and really appreciate that. So secondly, I want to transition into some leadership conversation. With Radius, we have not pushed this really hard the last year for reasons I've already stated. But as we emerge and we ramp up right now, leadership is, there's just no way around it. We've got to have leaders operating in the maturity that was the potential was placed in every one of us for that through the gospel, through the Holy Spirit given to us at salvation. We have the power of heaven ability to work through us. And so we have to mature into that. We're going to take some training for some people, some equipping for some people to embody exactly what God has for us in regards to a calling and a way to do that calling with competence. So what we're not doing is just saying we're recruiting leaders, although we have so many opportunities right now with the Big C Church, with the network, and probably within your own church has opportunities to teach and to lead and to some kind of way. All these are happening at one time. But what has gotten a little bit wonky over the last couple of years, but especially COVID kind of like did it in, is any kind of leadership pipeline. So right now, if you don't find yourself with a ministry description, a clear calling in the Lord, and you're walking out that calling of leadership and influence, we want to just let you know that the pipeline is coming. It's being like reworked right now to be simpler and to be reapplied into our context. And I can go ahead and tell you with decent confidence that in April, we're going to open up the blueprint training at a more organized level for everybody to jump into and do sort of that pipeline of training through it. So we'll be letting you know how that's going to go. We're working on it as staff and elders right now, and we're going to be putting it out to pastors and really hopefully releasing it to everybody pretty soon. But it's nothing like crazy new. It's just taken a lot of resources, a lot of strategic ways of helping people grow in leadership, become equipped in leadership, become deployed in leadership, and really putting that where it's more accessible to everybody within radius. So if you've jumped in the last year, maybe in the last 2 years, and you're like, hey, how do I really get to that place where I'm making disciples or where I could jump into like a leadership role and really influence people? Please keep asking that question, and we're going to be providing more and more answers from our angle as a network of churches. So very excited about that. Just keep open ears for that and be thinking about if right now you're asking yourself, am I really deployed as a leader yet? And the answer is you don't think you are. Then about a month and a half from now, you're going to be hearing a lot from us in terms of invitation and being able to get everybody involved at your level where you are in your maturity to grow into the next few clicks. And we need a lot of this, especially in the 10% right now, in the organized features of what we do. The Big C Church, there are lines of churches right now, pastors right now that need people that have operated in an environment like you're in right now, who know how to make disciples. We've got people within radius that need things. We have just so much that is going on. And so we are calling all potential leaders, all future leaders, all people who have the gospel and the Holy Spirit residing in them to one day lead, to really pay attention to the next step in your journey of maturity, because the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. So get excited for that, because we are, and we're going to be providing a lot more clarity to that in the few weeks to come. So we bless God for you. Thank you for joining us on this ramp up season. And we're excited to see what God's got to come for us. So grace and peace to you, and we hope to see you very soon.